Welcome into Rogue Football. I'm your host, Jordan Lugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here today. We have got our Cincinnati Bengals 7-round 2024 mock draft, the last team among the teams that have a first-round pick that we have to do a mock draft for. We will get to the teams without a first-round pick, of course, after this, but Cincinnati Bengals, they have the 18th overall pick. They lost their offensive coordinator, Dan Pitcher, promoted to OC, but of course, Zach Taylor is still there, the head coach, who is also the offensive brain, right? And then you have T. Higgins still there on the franchise tag, Jamar Chase, obviously, Joe Burrow. Ever heard of him? One of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Hopefully he's able to have a fully healthy season in 2024. I love bringing back Von Bell and adding Geno Stone to this defense. I think those are two of the more underrated moves of this offseason. Lou Anarumo is one of the best defensive coordinators in the game. I think last year there was a little bit too much instability at the safety spot for them. You get Von Bell back, who was the linchpin, besides Jesse Bates, of that defense. And then Geno Stone, a guy who can absolutely be a ball hawk, a playmaker. And then you still have Dax Hill and, of course, Jordan Battle, who I think had a pretty good rookie year. So I just love the idea of refortifying that safety room, and I think that's going to help the Bengals get back to where they were defensively. You did lose DJ Reader, but you brought in Sheldon Rankins to kind of add some pass rush juice. Obviously, Reader has missed a lot of time as well. So I think Sheldon Rankins was a nice addition there. Offensively, on the offensive line, I think you have an OL that maybe could get the job done, but there's still some holes. I would like to fortify that group in the NFL draft. You could maybe use another defensive lineman, again, to help kind of take away the sting of losing DJ Reader, who, when healthy, is one of the better interior defenders in the NFL. I think you could add some cornerback depth as well. And look, this is a cornerback class that is loaded with talent. You could use a punter too. There's some pretty good punters here in this NFL draft, no doubt about it. Excited to get into it. The Bengals, they do still have $23.6 million in cap space, so they could be active in free agency as well. 10 draft picks overall, 18 in the first round, 2 third-round picks, 2 sixths, 2 sevenths. So they've got a ton of draft capital, and I think that they have a chance to get back to the point where they feel like they can punch a ticket to the Super Bowl. And that is the ultimate goal for a team like the Cincinnati Bengals, with the franchise quarterback, with all the talent they have surrounding Joe Burrow, the coaching staff that can get the job done, especially on that defensive side of the ball. Really fired up to get into this one. If you enjoy the content here, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Really helps this channel grow. If you're a Cincinnati Bengals fan, really appreciate you being here today. So we'll go ahead and get this kicked off. 18 overall, Washington offensive tackle, Troy Fautanu. This is a guy who is one of my guys in this draft class. He has very advanced hand usage, a tremendous athlete, great length. He's always looking for work, always looking to knock somebody on their ass. Played left tackle at Washington. I think when you talk about what he can do for you in year one, you can plug him in at left guard. He's going to help you protect Joe Burrow long term. I think he's going to be starting at tackle for you. So I think that this is a pick that presents immediate value. And again, protecting Joe Burrow is the name of the game for this franchise. They haven't done a great job of doing so overall, but I think bringing in Troy Fautanu at 18 really helps you in that regard. At 49 overall, look, I don't think T. Higgins is going to be around too long, but I think they're going to keep him around for the 2024 campaign. Tyler Boyd, a free agent. Bring in Keon Coleman if he's still available. And there's a number of wide receivers that could be available at this spot that can come in and play that slot role for you. But Keon Coleman, I think if you plug him in as a power slot with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins on the outside, that could be a potentially unstoppable wide receiver core. And then if T. Higgins eventually moves on, Keon Coleman can develop into a larger role. This is still a very young football player. I know people look at his reception perception. He can't run all the routes, can't separate. But to me, a 20-year-old receiver who looked a lot better when fully healthy early on in the season at Florida State and at Michigan State in 2022, I think that the sky is the limit for what Keon Coleman could be. And if you're able to get him in the second round, that's fantastic. At 80 overall, we do go refortify that defensive line, that defensive front. Dwayne Carter out of Duke, I think. Obviously, Byron Murphy and Johnny Newton are at the top of the board. For me, Johnny Newton's at the top for the defensive lineman. But when you talk about guys that can both play the run and create penetration, push the pocket against the pass. I think Dwayne Carter is right up there with the very best of them in this class. I have a second-round grade on him. Landing him in the third would be tremendous for the Cincinnati Bengals. Then at 97 overall, another tremendous value, a guy who I have as an early second-round pick, FSU cornerback Renardo Green. Green plays physical. He's a good athlete overall, has enough size, has enough length, but his stickiness in coverage and man coverage and press man coverage is so impressive. One of the guys that has run press the most at the college level, done it at an extremely high level. He's covered guys like Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., and shut it down against guys like that. So Renardo Green for me at 97 overall to come in and be a long-term cornerback answer makes a lot of sense. And then at 115 overall, I'm not done fortifying this offensive line. Offensive lineman Dominic Pooney available in the 4th round. That is ridiculous, but it is possible because this is a very deep offensive tackle class, a deep wide receiver class, a deep corner class. So it's possible players that should not be available in the 4th round are still sitting there. Dominic Pooney did not run the best 40 time, but he is a very good athlete. He has quickness, he has length, he has position versatility. So this is the type of player, potential 5-position flex, and you landed a guy in the 1st round who, again, has a lot of flexibility. I think Dominic Pooney does as well. He played tackle for Kansas, has the length and athleticism, in my opinion, to continue to play tackle, but can also play guard and can also potentially play center. He did take reps at center at the Senior Bowl. So you landed 2 really versatile offensive linemen that can pass protect at a very high level for Joe Burrow. Big fan of what that could mean for the Cincinnati Bengals, both in the short and long term. At 149 overall, cornerback Jarvis Brownlee out of Louisville still on the board. That's just too good of a value for me to pass up on at this point. A really solid football player who I think can eventually start for you, whether it's outside or in the nickel. But again, adding value at these spots that have depth, it just makes too much sense for me. At 194 overall, punter Torrey Taylor, one of the most impressive punters I've seen in the college ranks. I think a guy that could come in and immediately lock down that role for you and really improve your ability to pin opposing teams deep and flip the field. At 214 overall, another position, wide receiver, where it's just really deep in this class. Joshua Cephas out of UTSA. He's 6'2", about 190 pounds. He's a guy that can release off the line of scrimmage. He has a good throttle up and down. I think he catches pretty much everything thrown his way. I think that he would fortify the back end of that wide receiver room. At 224 overall, running back might not be top heavy in this class, but there is great depth throughout it. Dylan Laub, to me, a guy that can be kind of that Giovanni Bernard, a guy that can come in and be a good runner, but a great pass protector and a great pass catcher out of the backfield, another weapon for Joe Burrow. And I know that there's some good running backs in that room, some guys I really like already, but I think that long-term he could help you out. And then 237 overall, continuing to fortify the defensive front, Fabian Lovett out of Florida State. He's just a guy that has incredible length, incredible strength. He's going to help you against the run, but he makes plays all over the field because of his red-hot motor. Never quits. I think that this is the type of guy you land in the 7th round, and he's going to make your football team, and he's going to make your football team better. So, again, protecting Joe Burrow, adding another impact wide receiver in Keon Coleman to be that power slot. I think he continues to expand his game after the 2024 season, but in 2024 with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Keon Coleman, that could be an unbelievable group. And then Dwayne Carter, super underrated. So is Renardo Green. You add 2 defensive stalwarts in the short and long term, and then you just add value towards the end of the draft. Jarvis Brownlee, Joshua Cephas, Dylan Laub, Fabian Lovett. These guys all have potential to really be very good rotational players, very good glue pieces on an NFL team. So, Cincinnati Bengals, Super Bowl. Let me know what you think in the comment section below if you are a Cincinnati Bengals fan. If Joe Burrow is fully healthy this season, I think that the Bengals, with a draft class like this, have a chance to punch their ticket once again to the big game in February. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Y'all have a good one.